with Intention podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello and welcome back to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I have a beautiful guest with me, Jessi Coletti. Welcome, dear. How are you today?
Thank you. I am fantastic. So excited to be here.
So nice to have you here, and thank you. And let's get right to it. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. My background is music. I studied music in college and had a piano studio for probably 15 years and taught private lessons. So I love music, love creation. I also have an essential oil business. I've worked in political campaigns in Airbnb, and seems like there was one more. Oh yeah, and coaching. I'm currently a coach. So I had, a lot of growth, a lot of successes, a lot of failures in my whole journey, which led me to discovering how to really be successful. And then I decided to become a coach myself.
Wow, that's beautiful. You do a lot of things. That's awesome. Gotta live a creative life, right?
I love to explore. I love to learn. I'll always be learning and growing.
Exactly. It makes life so much more interesting, I find. So as a professional musician and an artist, you also do a lot of beautiful paintings. Living in Idaho, how does the natural surroundings and outdoor lifestyle influence your creativity and work?
This is a really good one. I love to be in nature. Actually, I love hiking. Um, I'm a runner, and I actually set a goal this year to do 52 uncomfortable things, one thing every week, because we all have these imaginary ceilings. We feel like we can get to here, but when we place all these ceilings in our mind, then we hit those limits, and we can't break through them until we really get out of our comfort zone. I had a coach last year say, when you get out, when you break through the ceilings, the ceiling becomes the floor. And then you do it again, and the ceiling becomes the floor. And the ceiling becomes the floor, and the ceiling becomes the floor. And it just like stuck with me so strongly. I wanted all my ceilings to become floors. So one of my uncomfortable things, I've run half marathons before, but I've never done a trail run. So I was up in the mountains, 13 miles, which is about almost 21 kilometers up in the mountains, up and down, hills and rocks and through small rivers and streams. And it was such a beautiful and spiritual experience. I really felt like my creativity, just being in the nature, came home and had so many new ideas for art and music. That was a long answer.
No, it's funny because I was gonna ask you about the doing the uncomfortable things, and it's like you beat me to it.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, actually, I was fascinated by what you're doing, and I wanted to expand a little bit on that more. So you told us a little bit about that. I love that you're doing that because it's one of the things that a lot of people don't want to do or they're afraid of. And
Mhm.
how did you come up with that idea, if I may ask?
Well, yeah, so the idea came from another coach, Chris Cameron. My mentor is Kathleen, but that's her husband, and he's the one that brought the idea because his coach was doing it. And every single week they had to report what's the uncomfortable thing for the week. So in my head, I thought, well, I'm willing to do that. Like I had had so much growth. I tripled my business last year because I've done all these things and then started coaching, I started a brand new business. And so my income went down a bit starting a brand new business, but then ended up tripling. And I was like, what could anyway, I pictured or I pinpointed 3 or 4 big areas of growth for that year. I was like, what if there was 52 areas of growth? Like, how big am I going to expand then? What would the results be? And I was so curious and intrigued by that. It's like, I really want to do something every week. But then I thought, how do I think up that many things? Like, I don't even know. So I do have a sizable social media following. So I just posted, I said, does anyone have any ideas of uncomfortable things? Because I want to do 52 this year. So I have a list of about 100
That's amazing.
that I keep with me. And then sometimes I'm in the middle of a situation I'm out and about and something feels uncomfortable. And I'm like, ooh, that means I need to move toward it. So I'll end up doing it and it wasn't even on my list. And then other things I look through my list to say, what can I do this week?
So inspiration is driving force.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
inspiration, but also just like if I start to get that feeling like, oh, this is my ceiling. How exciting, instead of being scared of it, like what a great opportunity to recognize the ceiling and now break through. Like for example, I've been doing this wall Pilates challenge. So I've been doing it at home against the wall and it's great. But I went to the gym with my friends one time and I really wanted to get my routine in for the day because I get to check a box every time I do it. And I was like, well, is there some place in a corner way out of the way where no one's going to be watching me? And I head over to this corner, but then I saw in the middle of the room was really the best spot because there was a little standing platform and I would have all the room I needed. The other one would be pretty scrunched. Then I thought, yeah, but everyone would be seeing me and trying to walk around me and I'd be in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to myself as I'm walking to the corner. I said, oh, but that sounds like it's uncomfortable. I said, yeah, dang right, it's uncomfortable. So I just plopped my mat in the middle of the room, did all my stretching and wall Pilates in the middle by this little wall. People had to walk around me, but guess what? No one cared. No one even like yelled at me or gave me a mean look.
Wow. Yeah, because most of these things are mostly in our mind, right?
It's,
Like,
yeah, it was in my head anyway that someone wouldn't like it. Doesn't matter.
yeah. So you gotta do it. Bottom line, you gotta go get out there and do it, as they say, right? So, as someone deeply involved in mentoring and coaching, what are some key principles you believe in what it comes to helping others grow in both their mindset and their career? So, what are some key principles you would say?
That's really funny. Well, getting uncomfortable is one of my top key principles. And I didn't even think of this, but in January, when I started the uncomfortable things, I didn't really even think, or it didn't occur to me it would have such an impact on my clients. But they're like also leaning toward the uncomfortable. Like they're seeing me do it, and I'm not just preaching it to them, but I'm embodying that as well. So it's made a big impact on them. And then, of course, I have a beautiful morning routine. I make sure my energy's in the right place when I do my calls, when I do social media posts, because as we know, it's not the spirit of which you do something determines the outcome of that thing. So I can't be running my business if I'm mad at the world. I've got to take some time off and come back
Yeah,
and do it when
exactly.
I'm in a good energy.
Yeah, because energy does come through. No matter how much we think it doesn't, it definitely does come through. So you like me, you love cheese, you love chocolate, and the finer things. How do you incorporate balance and enjoyment into your everyday life? I know it's an unusual question.
That is. I've learned so much to follow my intuition. So I make sure I'm really enjoying like most of what I do. Even with art or music. Sorry, I want to go three different directions in my head. So first of all, with the cheese, this is a funny one because years ago I've really revamped my whole relationship around money, how I feel about money, how I attract it, the vibration of money and love. And I remember writing down years ago because I would write down five things I was grateful for in the future as if they were in my life now. But I remember writing down, I'm so thankful that I can buy fancy cheese at the store when I feel like it instead of being on a super tight budget and looking at the cheese and saying, oh, $12 for a little, 2 ounces and passing right by. So the fact that now I've created this identity and grown myself, grown my businesses to this place where I can really have fancy cheese whenever I feel like it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of meaning to that, which is really personal to me about eating fancy cheese. It's not just that it's delicious and that I love it.
yeah,
But, but yeah, it's the balance is that I am free to do what I want, but I also eat pretty healthy. I mean, I'm not going to go overboard, but I also love my dessert and my cheese.
yeah, exactly.
I'm
And
just
the
at my
chocolate too,
door.
right?
Oh yeah, I love some dark chocolate now and then.
So that is your favorite?
Dark is my favorite. Yes.
It's good for you too. I love that. Like, because I know where you're coming from with that because you could go to the store and be like, oh, that's too expensive, or why should I get that? It's just, 2 seconds or and
Mhm.
I'm paying so much money. So I understand that mindset because I used to do it too. And then I started like, I was like, well, why am I thinking like that? You change your mindset around. It's like, you know what? I'm worth it. And money will come. It's just money, right? But if we cheap out on things like that, well, what else are we doing in other areas of our life? Like
Mhm.
it does definitely play a big role. And I remember I was listening to one of my mentors too. She was talking about blueberries in a store and I think strawberries. And she's like, that was it's a little thing, but it shifts you so much because she's like, here I'm about to pick up thing that I don't even like, but it's only $2. Was the thing I really want is $5 more. And she had that moment where it's like, wait a minute, like if I'm doing that here, imagine it's the same thing with money. How is money
Mhm.
supposed to flow to me if I'm constantly like downgrading myself and getting things I don't really enjoy or like? So in that moment,
Mhm.
that's where it started with her mindset. She started looking things differently in life, right? So she's actually a multimillionaire right now too, based on the little things she just said, little tweaks here and
I
there.
love that.
So it's amazing what happens when we change the micro things,
Yes.
makes us
Oh,
grow
that's
and
so true.
expand. So
That's
I absolutely.
beautiful.
You also like to paint. I've seen some of your paintings. What do you love about it? Tell us more about that.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot of growth in my painting as well. I actually only a couple years ago picked up a paintbrush. So I've never been someone that was an artist for, like their whole life. Of course, music. I grew up my whole life doing music, but with the art, it came after really diving into coaching and letting go of a lot of emotional baggage, crying, writing it out, letting stuff go, changing my beliefs around myself that I was good, that I had something to contribute. So, two side notes on this. I did 10 years of fertility treatments. I ended up with two boys, which I'm so grateful. One's biological and one's adopted. But during that 10 years, I had a few really dark and angry years. I had some grief, from every single month for whatever it was, 120 months, not having my dreams come true, not having my wishes fulfilled. But I remember telling myself I wasn't worthy to have children, which is ridiculous. But when you're grieving, you do ridiculous things and it's okay. But I also remember telling people I'm not creative. Oh, I don't do crafts. I'm not creative. But what I was really saying is I can't create. And I would look at even like people in jail, maybe someone, a criminal that had a baby in jail and be like, yep, they are more worthy than me. So I got to a pretty low point. Like I said, some dark years. And through actually studying with Kathleen Cameron, and I've had quite a few coaches, but it was with her that I raised up my level. I let go of the baggage. The other piece is that I've been a musician my whole life, but have never charged for only for lessons. I've never charged anyone to accompany, to play for funerals, to write music, to compose. Someone sings a song and they're like, "Can you write this all out?" And I just do it. I play for a lot of big performances in our community, never charged because I never had that worthiness. I'm not good enough. Anyway, so working with her, digging out all the emotional baggage, creating an identity of someone who is powerful, a powerful creator. Like I truly think of myself as that now. It's kind of like I just took the lid off because number one, I've had what, 3 or 4 now people come to me and say, I'm writing music. What do you charge? I need someone to do the background accompaniments. And now they're both published. So my name is on, now I'm published.
Wow.
And I also continue to play in the community. But when I switched that belief, they started asking me what my rates were, even though I didn't tell people. So energetically, I decided I wanted to be a professional musician, and it happened.
Yeah, that
And
is
then just a
amazing.
couple years ago, I was painting with my son, and there was just something in my heart that said, "Ooh, I love this." So I just started looking at all this abstract and painting and enjoying, and some were funny and some were glorious of my paintings. And I recently had a local store reach out and say, "We want to sell your art in our shop."
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
now I wake up and I'm like, what am I creating next? It's unlimited. Whereas before I had such a lid put on my creation abilities. So,
That is beautiful. I love it. And I know exactly where you're coming from. Certain things, of course, not everything, because we have different experiences. But Kathleen, like when I met her, it's almost 4 years, I think now. Like she, I always tell people, and they kind of laugh. She's like, she swept me off my feet because originally I went into Bob Proctor coaching.
oh, very good.
Yeah, and then I met
Wonderful.
her like 2, 3 months after because of one of the videos she was in Bob Proctor. And
Okay.
I was just so fascinated. And she was like a sister I never had. And I just loved her programs, just like you. We went into her programs, we shifted our mindset, and if you really let yourself expand and grow, you'll be amazed what kind of things start coming your way. I used to be always like 1 foot in and like, and 10 out back. I
Mhm.
never really wanted to, I did a lot of great things, but my personal growth and things like that was suffering for many years. So like I can relate to some of these things, but with Kathleen's programs and mentoring and of course other programs too, like it's just amazing where your life can take off to. And like, being an author now, I also paint. I don't know if you knew that, acrylics. When I was in
Wow.
school, I used to have art awards.
Oh, how
But I kind
pretty.
of don't do it as much. Not that I don't want to. It's just, sometimes life takes you on a different path and you do other things. But in my
Sure.
spare time, I paint with my daughter or things like that. So, I think it's really important to, sometimes to sit back, really look at your life and like let in that light that's supposed to shine, because I know a lot of people don't. They sit there, they wonder, they get upset, and then they're like, oh, and then they keep going, that self-pity or whatever you want to call it. But then,
Mhm.
there comes a point where it's like, you know what? I'm ready for more. I want to shine. I want to inspire people, and it makes for a better world, not just for them, but for us too. It makes life more
Absolutely.
fulfilling, I find. So,
Well,
how
you'll
is
have to
your
send me some of
family?
your art. I'd love to see some of your art. You'll have to send it over.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I love that. So how has this inspired your family to do other things? Do you see them doing things you've never thought they would? Is there anything you'd like to share in that sense?
I'm sure. Yeah, I think we definitely have a non-conventional family. My husband is an attorney, but he loves politics. He's the mayor of our town as well. And there's a lot that comes with that. I'm really proud of him for using his gifts and passions. But I have a 13-year-old son who is an author and a writer. He draws all the time. He already knows he's a best-selling author. It's it's in the bag. That's what he's going to do when he grows up, be a professional author. And then I have another son who will be 24 next month, and he's in LA and he's an actor. He's been there for 3 years, and we actually just got to go to LA for his first movie premiere, his red carpet event.
That is
So that
so
was a dream
wonderful.
come true that I've been writing out. Like, I'm so excited to go to see his movie premiere, and then it happened.
Wow. You inspire me. Just like listening to all these stories, I was like, okay, I gotta go out there get do more things, Like I think we inspire one another just hearing these stories, and that's what it's all about, I think, stepping out of that comfort zone. Do the things that are uncomfortable, and I love hearing all that, and it makes the life so much more fulfilling.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
it truly does. So sorry, it's just a moment where you just want to bask in, right?
Yes, for
Like,
sure. We
can we
can
pause for a minute? You
pause for
know?
a moment. Absolutely.
So, the theme of this podcast is Rise and Thrive, Mornings with Intention, as you know. So, how important do you think it's important to set that intention first thing in the morning? And is there any key points you would give anybody? Anything that you practice that you like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably what most people do, but I do a gratitude, I do meditation, I have my spiritual time where I read my scriptures and I'm journaling, prayer, and then I also do a workout, so moving my body. But I will say, and I don't know if it was Neville Goddard, it might have been, I think so. He does a routine at night where he reviews his day and goes backwards in his day. And if there's anything that he didn't love during the day, in his mind, he switches the memory. So every night I'm going to sleep reviewing my day of how exactly amazing I would have loved to have my day. And then in the morning, like before I get out of bed, I just take a few deep breaths and think, go through my schedule in my mind. Who am I talking to? Who am I blessing? What records am I breaking, or what new clients are coming in? How am I going to impact at this event when I speak, or how am I going to show up for my kid doing homework, and I'm going to have patience and like it's all encompassing. I don't just do this with work, but it's family, it's music, art. I'm a volunteer in my church for the youth group. We have that tonight. So I was envisioning how that's going to just go smoothly and everyone's going to be uplifted by that. So yeah, that's what I do in the morning.
I absolutely love that. Wow, you're so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom, golden nuggets with us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know I did.
Thank you.
So thank you, Jessi, for being with us here today. Any last final words you want to say before we let our listeners
Um,
go?
I don't think so, except I could share the funniest uncomfortable thing I've done.
Yes, please do.
Okay. So if I guess there's two that are everyone's saying are the funniest, but I did a flash mob in the mall. And I organized like 20 people. I created a dance, which I've never done choreography before, found a song, talked to the mall manager to make sure it was okay, showed up at a mall on a busy Saturday, and in the middle, turned on the speaker, and then I was first. So I jumped out in the middle and just started dancing,
No way.
and then every 10 beats or so, someone else would join me, and I had people planted. But that was hilarious. And then I also wore a really awkward outfit for a whole day, and I had like 3 or 4 big events. I had a robe, a helmet, and a snow pants. And like everywhere I went, just acted like I was normal. And with both of these things, like I felt the discomfort halfway through, but by the end, I had just let it go. Like it doesn't matter. And I just stepped into that most confident version. So
Wow.
it's been 2 really fun experiences.
I
And
love
you can
that.
see them
That's,
on my social media if you want to go look.
yeah, I'll definitely check. I think I've seen Well, I've seen a few of them, but I'll definitely go check it out again. And once again, we'll post all the links in this video in order for you to get in touch with Jessi, see what she's up to next and things like that. So follow her. And I hope you enjoy this video. And thank you so much for sharing, Jessi. And
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
everybody
Eva.
else for being here with us today. Take care, everyone. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Bye bye.